Not yet.
There you are. Please stand. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a motion to accept the election results?
So moved.
I second.
All right, we have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned. I don't think I have to. She's gonna sweat. Oh, we need our new alderman to step forward, please.
Can I get you sworn in?
That will work.
All right. Yeah, step over in the center in case somebody wants to take a photo like your lovely wife. You can raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I, Jim Shermer,
I, Jim Shermer,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and confirm
that I will support the Constitution
I will support the Constitution
and the laws of the United States,
and the laws of the United States,
the state of Missouri,
the state of Missouri,
and the ordinances of the city of Herman.
the ordinances of the city of Herman.
And I will faithfully demean myself
I will faithfully demean myself
and perform all the duties of the office
and perform all the duties of the office
for which I have been elected.
for which I have been elected.
And I possess all qualifications
I possess all qualifications
prescribed for said office.
prescribed for the office.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
At this point, we can swear these off, or do we go to
You
this?
can, that's fine.
Okay, Brian, if you step forward, I'd like to read a proclamation. Brian, come on out here where everybody can see you. I have a proclamation. Whereas is a mayoral proclamation, Alderman Brian Shorley, Appreciation Day in Herman, Missouri. Whereas Brian Shorley has diligently served as alderman for the 2nd Ward of the City of Herman during the period April 8, 2007 through April 8, 2019, a tenure of 12 years. And whereas Brian Shirley has given of himself and his personal time to the city of Herman during this term of office to an extent well in excess of the usual call of duty. And whereas the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the City of Herman, Missouri, do desire to express our appreciation to Brian for his exemplary terms in public service. And whereas Brian will be remembered as a loyal and trustworthy example of the finest kind of Herman civic volunteer. Now therefore, I, Dr. Robert C. Kerber, Mayor of Herman, Missouri, do hereby proclaim April 8, 2019 as Alderman Brian Shorley Appreciation Day throughout the city, and urge all citizens of Herman to seek Brian out and express your appreciation and gratitude to him wherever and whenever you meet. Be it further proclaimed that the original of this proclamation is presented to Brian Shorley in recognition of the esteem in which he is held. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the official seal of the City of Herman, Missouri to be affixed this 8th day of April, 2019. Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, I just want to thank everybody for their support throughout the years, and it was definitely an honor to serve these last 12 years. I think, like I was thinking the other day, it was just a year after this building opened that I started, so it's been quite a long time, and it's got a lot of things ahead of me. So I appreciate everybody's support and everybody's help with the city.
Thank you, yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah,
thanks. Don't want to shake hands. I'm sure everybody here will shake your hand.
Thanks. Thanks.
As I said, it's been a long.
Thanks.
Okay, do we swap now? Jim?
Yes.
Alderman, front and center. We have a seat right here for you.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
You damn fool.
I heard.
Senator, you guys get to all that.
Thank you.
Okay. We have a couple of public hearings tonight. The first one is a voluntary annexation request from B&H Well Drilling. Dave, do you want to read that?
Sure, there's a petition for voluntary annexation for property at 409 Sawmill Road in Herman, Missouri. And if anybody has anything to say in support of this petition, they'll be given an opportunity to do so. If anybody has anything to say in opposition to this petition, they'll be given an opportunity to do so. I'll just go ahead and introduce the exhibits. Exhibit 1 is the affidavit of publication from the newspaper. Exhibit 2 is the notice of public hearings that was published in the newspaper. Exhibit 3 is the petition for voluntary annexation submitted by B&H. Exhibit 4 is a survey and legal description of the property that they are seeking to be annexed. Exhibit 5 is an aerial photo highlighting the property to be annexed. Exhibit 6 would be the entire municipal code of ordinances of the city of Herman, Missouri. And Exhibit 7 would be the Planning and Zoning Commission minutes of March 20th, 2019, where Jeff Schmidt made a motion to recommend the annexation and to zone the property I-2. And Frank Tennant seconded the motion, and the motion was unanimously approved by the commission. Mayor Turber, would you agree to accept these exhibits into the record?
I do.
I don't have anything else, and feel free to discuss.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone here has discussion. Do we need
I think
the
so. Yeah.
representatives want to come forward and speak? That's fine. I think it's straightforward, but you're more than welcome to come up.
No, we just thank you all for considering us and
What
we would
what
work
is your
this
name?
out for
I'm
a long
sorry.
time.
I need
Pardon
to
me?
know your name.
Pardon me?
I need to know your name.
My name's Greg.
Okay, go ahead, Greg.
Anyways, I appreciate y'all considering this. We worked this area for a long time and know a lot of the folks around here, so.
Well, we look forward to having you in the city. And is there discussion amongst the aldermen on this, or?
I see absolutely no downside to this. It's not out of the way. It's right there at the edge of city limits anyway. Unless anyone has an argument, I will make a motion to approve this.
I'll make the second.
We have a motion made and seconded to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion is carried. Does that need a second reading, or should we just, okay?
There will be an annexation ordinance to follow.
Right, that's coming, okay. We have another amendment. Do you want to read that one?
As another public hearing item, you mean?
Yeah, we have another public hearing on it.
Okay. The next public hearing is for amendment to the Herman Municipal Code, sections 420.110, 420.120, and 420.130, to prohibit bed and breakfast inns, guest houses, vacation rentals, or homes, and any other non-owner occupied lodging establishments in residential zoning classes. And there is a draft of a proposed ordinance in your materials here, and it describes the proposed amendment in detail. And I'll go ahead and read the exhibits into the record. Exhibit 1 is the affidavit of publication from the newspaper. Exhibit 2 is a notice of public hearings published in the newspaper. Exhibit 3 is a draft of a proposed ordinance. Exhibit 4 is the entire code of ordinances of the city of Herman, Missouri. And Exhibit 5 is the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting minutes, where a motion was made to recommend approval of the changes to the ordinances. Motion made, seconded, and passed by unanimous approval.
I'd like to point out too that when you see this in the agenda, it's not the entire ordinance. The entire ordinance has a provision for allowing bed and breakfast and guest houses, really guest houses, in R2 and R3 with a conditional use permit. And that is, I think, important because that's the version that was passed on and from planning and zoning. So that is what we're talking about. Is there any discussion here of it?
I would just like to point out that we've been discussing this a lot. This originally came up because lodging owners came to us and asked us to do something. We started out with talking about a moratorium on any more. I've since then, in the meetings we had, and others have talked to several lodging owners. They've come up with some very good ideas, alternate plans, and they've actually gotten us back to where we had talked about sometime in the past with regulation and enforcement of these establishments. And I really think that we can get to where we want to be and solve the problems that we have by following that track. Alderman Langer has actually got a committee going discussing ways to do this, comprising of lodging owners, regular citizens, business people, and we're going to be working over this over the next several months. None of this will come to a vote within 3 months, I'll guarantee you that. It'll probably be longer than that. It's going to take a while to do this to make sure that we get it correct. So when it's done, we have an actual working document that will benefit everyone. It's not a matter of anybody, and I'm sorry, I hate this term. Every time that this comes up is, you all hate tourism. Nobody at this table hates tourism. Everybody at this table understands just how important tourism is to this town. I love guest houses. It keeps the people here. I think it's wonderful, but you can't have completely unregulated lodging. It's dangerous. We need to make sure that the rules are fair and that everyone follows them. That's the whole point of this. I got that out. I'm good now. So.
Okay, now, we will not vote tonight. So is there anybody here that would like to speak on this topic?
Now, I do have copies of the second draft agenda if anybody out there would like
You can
that.
put them there, people, if you want.
Chief Walker, would you mind putting these by the back door by the agenda so people can put these up on their way out if they're interested?
Okay, so we won't vote, but we're going to table this for 90 days and give Susan a chance to look into this and get feedback from a lot of people, and we can all help her. We're also looking at an enforcement officer, which Dave will bring up in a little bit. But, and we're looking for a job description for that. So every city's different, ours will be different too. But that actually is being looked into. So there is no vote, and as far as I know, that concludes this portion of this. Okay, so now,
Before we conclude the record, I don't think that I asked Mayor, do you agree to accept all the exhibits that I described into the record?
I do.
Okay. Then
Okay, we got it.
that should be all.
Anything else? Okay.
No one has
So
anything to say on this.
I'm confident we can do it. The group of business owners and the realtor and insurance people, I think we can do this, and it's going to be good for everyone.
If anybody can, you can, so we have confidence in it. Okay, thank you. That concludes this section of our public hearings. We'll give a few minutes for the clerk to, stenographer to clear her equipment, and then we'll start down on my report. And my report is a little longer than usual.
Mayor, did you postpone the president, election of the president?
Yeah, he's not here, and I'm going to table that.
Okay.
He's not here, and I think we should, obviously, that's a good point, and I think we should
It'd be a
table.
real easy way to keep him in there, but it's not really fair.
No, so I think we'll
I
table
thought that
this.
was the plan.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it could be, but, you know, we ought to hear from him too, so. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, good. Past 7 days have been action-packed for the city of Herman. We've had a city election and concluded an agreement bringing fiber optic, high-speed broadband data transmission to Herman. As most of you know, the city of Herman was not successful in passing our Proposition Streets bond issue. We ended up 24 votes short. While we had about 53% yes, we needed a supermajority of 57%. 57.1, I think. We gave the people a very good, very affordable plan and an opportunity for new streets. We put on extensive informational sessions, ads, flyers, and video, but we were not successful. The major difficulty, as I see it, was the extremely large number, almost 900, maybe over 900, registered voters who did not vote on an issue of such major importance to every one of them. We still have very bad streets, and what will we do now? We should not forget that 53% of the voters voted yes, many more than the simple majority. This is similar to the last vote 7 years ago. I've had people tell me that they wanted to vote for the proposition, but they didn't because they thought it would pass. Other people said they were too busy. Other people said they forgot. These same people are asking, what can we do to bring it back in August? Several people have also asked if they could start a petition. I'm always for petitions. I like petitions even better than coming here in person because I think they're a permanent record of your support or non-support of an item. I encourage everyone, if you want to start a petition or sign a petition, to do so. I'm asking Joey McCliney, the underwriter of Proposition Streets, to attend a special public workshop tentatively scheduled for next Monday at 6 o'clock in this room. Dave can't be here, you already told me that. It's not an alderman meeting, so the aldermen are not really required to be here, but I think it's a good idea. We can discuss where we go from here and lay out all the options open to the city of Herman to improve our streets. I encourage everyone to bring or send their ideas concerning funding Herman streets. That includes the Chamber of Commerce, everybody that has an idea. Mr. Driscoll, I've talked to him about it. So hopefully, all the ideas, I just saw Mr. Lauer out in the parking lot and invited him. So anyway, that will be next Monday at 6 o'clock. It'll get us started. Maybe that's all there is. I don't know. But we want to move forward because we need better streets. City of Herman and Calabite Technology. The mayor and aldermen met on April 3rd, that's last Wednesday, to conclude a single piece of business. That business finalized the construction of citywide fiber optic network for Herman. The agreement is finalized will offer extremely high-speed fiber optic data for the city of Herman, including our hospital, our businesses, our residents, public and municipal buildings. Herman will now have the same fiber optic capability as large cities, such as Kansas City. This will allow citizens to have more reliable and faster internet service, work from their homes, download and upload large amounts of data, interface schools with students, allow our hospital to transmit patient data almost instantaneously, provide transmission of off-site training and coursework, download movies and other entertainment, connect our police department with other law enforcement agencies, among other things. These negotiations will carried out over several months, primarily with Mr. Thomas Howard and myself, with Alderman present and Mark and the other folks in the city. I want to thank Mr. Howard for his honest and straightforward negotiating style. I also want to thank the Herman Board of Aldermen who had the confidence in me as their mayor to negotiate on behalf of the city. As always, the alderman and city attorney were kept informed at all times. If you need any information about Calabite, you can visit their website, which is www.calabite.com, and the number is here. The representative of Calabite will be here at 9 o'clock Wednesday in the community room if there's any questions about it. There's a couple of other things about this that I think are very important. When we started this project, we were told there was a $2.6 million investment. And since that time, $200,000 has been added because there had to be more infrastructure to meet state requirements that we actually own this equipment from stem to stern. So we're looking at $2.8 million. We had to borrow that. Banks weren't that interested at this point. They didn't know if this thing would go or how many people would be interested. We found a couple of interested people to operate it for us. And we went through actually 5 or 6 different groups that were somewhat interested. But we called some of them out and we ended up with 2 or 3. The problem with that is we had to borrow almost $3 million. Then we had to build it, and then we had to get somebody in here to operate it for us, and the risk was basically on us. If not enough people signed up, the operator probably wouldn't stay around. And then we'd be looking for another one with a track record of not supporting the previous one. So we could end up running it ourselves. There's a risk of technology, there's a risk of, there were a lot of risks, financial risk, and so on. There was also the risk we might not get the loan. And if we did get the loan, from the best source we thought, which was the USDA, it was going to take 2 to 2.5 years to process the loan. So that right there was not very good. So when we started talking to Calabite, that was about a year ago, and we had a probably 9-month hiatus, we ended up discussing a similar situation where we built it, they wanted us to build it, and they would operate it for us with an option to buy it in 10 years. And I asked them if they would loan us the money because they have opportunities to borrow money that we don't have. They thought about that and came back and said, you borrow the money and then you can sell it to us. Or, I didn't think that, so why don't you just use your money, which you have access to easier and cheaper money than we do. You build it and we'll franchise your operation of it, and you own it, and you operate it, and you take the risk of how many people are going to sign up, and I mean, you'll do a better job if it's your money, and they thought about that, and that's the way we did it. So we have no money invested except an initial small amount of make-ready work, which we estimate to be probably $60,000 or $70,000 or less. So we came out very well on this, and they did too. They're used to building these where there's 3 miles between houses in the cooperative. In our situation, we only have 2.2 square miles for the entire city, so this is like a bowl of popcorn for them. They're happy with that. They can make money at this, and we don't have the risk, and all our citizens get this convenience and this utility. So that's basically how it worked out in a nutshell. I have some old and new business that I wanted to go over some of, and some of it can wait till next time. The transportation bill, we hope, will be on the agenda for discussion, not voting, next time. If not, it'll be coming back up. It's not gone. The AT&T cell tower is going through federal and state permitting phase, and as soon as they get their permit to operate, then they'll probably come back. Then I think the next step is they come back to us for a building permit, and they can start construction at whatever it is that they want to do there. One thing I'd like to talk about is speaking at Board of Alderman meetings. There seems to be a lot of confusion. It's on Herman Moe website how to do it. There's 3 ways you can talk in a meeting. If you want to talk about anything there is, all you have to do is call Trish, and she'll put you on the agenda. You need to do that 2 days ahead of time. That would be Thursday afternoons.
I will actually tell them that I need to confirm that with the mayor.
Okay, well, thank you. But anyway, you'll be put on. And that way you get unlimited time. If you want to hand out things to the Board of Aldermen, you can bring them to the meeting, or you can give them to Trish 2 days ahead of time. She'll put them in their packet so they have all weekend to study it. You don't have to do that. You can come and talk. Tonight, if someone wanted to talk about the items that we had in our open hearing, anybody could have come up and talked. The annexation, maybe somebody nearby or whatever had something to say about it, pro or con. They're welcome to come and talk. So and they get as much time as they want. The other limited time that comes at the end of the meeting is just general discussion about a subject that may or may not be of general interest, but the person just wants to talk about it. And rather than just let people pop up and talk about things, we do the same thing that other cities do, which is limit the amount of time they can talk, and they fill out a form. That's done everywhere, really, and almost everywhere, and it's not unusual, and it's not stifling their freedom of speech. If they want to talk 15 minutes, be on the agenda so these gentlemen and ladies have an idea you're coming, and they can look things up. If it's a sales tax item or something, they can be prepared. So that's how that works. I'm going to read the part of it that's on hermanmo.com myself again to see if there's anything in there that is misleading, but we have a lot of people that don't seem to understand. So hopefully they will. Everything in municipal government is a process, and it's open and transparent. We now have had 3 hearings on this guest house. 2 at the pending planning and zoning, and 1 here. There'll be at least 1 and probably 2 more. It goes through. The very initial phase of an ordinance is not necessarily the way it's going to come out, because there's a lot of opportunity for input and change. And that's just the way it is. Nothing can be slipped past you without anybody knowing about it. It just doesn't work that way. I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk to Mr. Miskell about forcing the county sheriff to take over Herman Dispatch. I think I'd rather do that with him first before we do anything here. And the sidewalk ordinance, I think that's been talked to death, but the Board of Aldermen have a right to fund the sidewalks however they want. They can assess the fee to the homeowner, or they can pay for it themselves. It's all a matter of ordinance. Mr. Pleat read that last time. So basically that's what I have here. Is there any does anybody have any comments on that, or should we move right to the city administrator report?
When Calabite comes on Wednesday, are they here just to take questions, or are they actually signing people up?
They will sign people up if they want to be signed up. I'm going to come in. I've already expressed my interest, and I'll sign up. And I don't know what's entailed. But they'll be here with all the information that you need. Or you can call or go on calabite.com and express your interest. That's a good question.
They're going to be here this Wednesday, or?
They will be here Wednesday.
Oh,
This Wednesday.
next Wednesday.
No, this Wednesday. No matter what I said.
I did it online, so.
Yeah, and you can do that, and if you go on and express interest, they fill out a map, and then the areas of the city that have the most interest, they intend to try to put the fiber optic to that area first. So that's just their way of gauging importance in certain areas. So, okay, Mark.
Okay, just a couple of quick updates on some grants I'm working on. Met with the city staff and Ann Friend of MRPC this past Friday to discuss the Herman Flood Detour Study. We finalized signage and a digital map, and the study is funded through a grant through the MRPC, a grant to MRPC through the Missouri Association of Councils of Government. And then the signs and barricades that we're going to use for this project are being funded by a grant to the City of Herman from the Community Foundation of the Ozarks and the Community Foundation of the Herman area. And secondly, I'm working with Bartlett and West Engineering, submitted an application for a grant on the engineering of our water system. A $25,000 grant with the Missouri Department of Natural Resources paying $20,000 and the city contributing $5,000. We won't know until later this summer or early fall if we get the grant, but if we do, we'll use it to determine needed upgrades in the city's water system, such as looping mains for better flow, storage capacity, and identifying aging and inadequate water infrastructure.
Mark, what about the demolition grants? I know you heard something.
I did hear something from MRPC that the people at HUD who facilitate the CDBG grant are looking at applications now, so we hope to hear something soon.
Since he brought it up,
I was gonna bring it up in old business, but I guess this is as good a time as any. I'm getting a lot of complaints about these derelict buildings. I understand we were trying to get demolition grants to help people out, but if they're not going to be forthcoming, it's time for buildings to start hitting the ground. We had a fire here the other week, a house was totaled within a week. It's a muddy hole in the ground, they got it down. If they can do it, everybody else can do it too. I don't want to penalize or punish people, but if they own this property, it's time for these buildings to start coming down.
What is the process for that? I agree.
Well, we need, whatever the process is, we need to start.
Okay. Can we had a list at one time of these buildings. I think I can find that. But if not, you and I will drive around like we have, and we'll see them all. And we got room in the back for Mr. Shermer if he wants to ride. And well, you might know some of them too, and I'm sure you do. And let's get a list though. If I don't have it, if not, we'll make it.
Okay.
I think there's a nuisance ordinance out there, I think will cover a lot of it, where it could harbor bacteria or rodents or breeding ground. So that could be part of it, and I think that process is we identify the owner or the renter. If they're not the same, we send them a letter. They have 10 days to start the proceedings. If they don't, then the city can move forward to clean it up and get rid of it, and then the charges are billed back, and nothing else, we put a lien against the property.
And we need to move on. I agree. And Dave can help us with that. There's usually more legal steps than what our ordinances say.
It's never as easy as you think it is.
Because it's
but
somebody's
whatever-
personal
Whatever the
problem.
procedure is, we need to get it started.
Okay, I understand. I agree. Okay, now we have just several ordinances. Dave, do you want to take the reins on that? Sure.
First on for second reading is bill number 2019-10, an ordinance to approve and authorize the execution of an amended natural gas transportation agreement signed between the city of Herman, Missouri and the cities of New Florence, Missouri, New Haven, Missouri, and Middletown, Missouri.
Mark, you want to explain what this is and how long we've been working on that?
Well, it's taken probably a couple of years to get all the cities together on the same page and agree on a wheeling fee that they will pay into a fund that will protect our gas main for the future. We raised it, we basically doubled the wheeling rate, and with all the cities involved, it just took a while to get the language right and get everybody on the same page. But we are there. Their councils have approved it, so now we're the last to approve it, and hopefully we get this thing in place soon.
Tell them what wheeling is.
Wheeling is transportation of gas from city to city.
Right, so it's the purpose of this is to establish a fund to make significant repairs, not just a valve here or there, but if we have a rupture, we can have enough money to fix the pipe. And that's what this
What
is.
is that fee, Mark? Where to go to? I'm just curious.
Let me think a minute. It went from 0.048 cents to a penny. Basically doubled.
Okay, let's move on with that. Do we have any other conversations, or can I get a motion for that?
I make a motion to approve this ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That, I believe, was the second reading.
It was.
So this is in effect now. Okay, Dave.
All right, next is bill number 2019-13, an ordinance to approve and authorize the execution of a number 3 substation construction agreement by and between Central Electric Power Cooperative and the city of Herman, Missouri.
Mark, you want?
You want to tell us about that one?
Yeah, I guess. The transformer was delivered today at sub 3, and Central's up there now putting it in place, so I think it's probably time we approve this.
We have, however, made payments on it.
Oh, yes, we've made
So it's
payments.
not
This
like
is the new
it's
big
COD.
This is the new transformer. Jesse's back there, he could speak to it. The new Waukesha transformer showed up this morning, I believe.
Yeah, it showed up this morning. The payments have been made to Waukesha Transformer Company out Central, just so that's clear. And we had an agreement with them in place to bring the transformer in and set it. This is to construct the rest of the substation, install the low bay, and put in the breakers and all the metering and everything else. So once we get this rolling, they'll be back to finish the project.
And the project, the purpose of it is, will help us get on 1 voltage and reduce loss.
Yeah, reduce system losses, and it'll get the system on 1 voltage, and we'll still be able to have redundancy in the system. If one substation were to go down and need maintenance, we can pull it out and leave the other one energized and run like that.
That sounds pretty good.
And the existing transformer is the one that's been off, yes?
Yeah.
It's been a little bit, it's been burping.
Yes, and if that doesn't scare you, you don't know anything about transformers. So I will move Bill 2019-13 first read.
I'll second it.
I have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carried. Do we need to read that twice?
That would be ideal.
Well, let's read it again.
Bill number 2019-13, an ordinance to approve and to authorize the execution of the number 3 substation construction agreement by and between Central Electric Power Cooperative and the City of Herman, Missouri.
Mr. Sherman, would you like to make a motion to accept that?
I'll make the motion to accept it. Or
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you very much. Next.
Next is bill number 2019-14. It would be an ordinance to amend Herman Municipal Code, section 735.050, regarding the frequency of utility advisory board meetings. And we discussed this a little bit at the last meeting, but that section 735.050A said they would hold regular meetings at least monthly, and it's been changed to 1 time every 3 months. Or as otherwise determined by the board.
Right, so they could have 2 of them in a month if they wanted to, but they don't have sufficient business anymore since the electric company basically is in such good hands, and all the other utilities are doing well. They're operating in the black, and anyway, that was at their request.
When would their next meeting be then?
Actually, I think next June. Is it June? It would be, yeah. Okay, do we have a motion, anyone?
I make a motion to approve the ordinance change.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Does that need to be voted
I believe. That one can wait.
again? Okay. Now we move to old business. Is there,
Oh, yeah. Okay, grass cutting season had just started. We passed an ordinance last year that I thought we already had covered, but apparently it wasn't clear enough that you can't dump yard waste, grass clippings, and everything else out in the streets. That was hammered home to me today when 2 new employees of a local lawn coating company covered the street in front of my house full of yard waste. I got 5 phone calls in 15 minutes. I called the head of the company. He had his boys back out there. They took care of it with no problems. He assured me they were new employees and it would not happen again. I'm very happy it was resolved that way, but I would like to caution everybody, please don't do this. Be a good neighbor, be a good citizen. Don't gum up all our street drains and our storm sewers with yard waste. Clean it up like you're supposed to, please.
and Dave, I'd like to say another thing too on this, and it has to do with burning. We have a burning permit, and you're allowed to burn grass clippings, I believe, but you can't burn building materials and things of that sort. And that apparently is also not well known. The reason that building materials are verboten is because a lot of times they contain all kinds of chemicals and so forth, lead paint and that, and when you burn them, it gets in the air, floats all over, and people that have difficulty breathing have difficulty breathing. So the ordinance, maybe next time we should read the ordinance so that in old business so that everybody understands it. But that's very good. Is there any other ordinance?
Not old business.
Mayor,
Yes.
can you maybe tell people where they can take those recycled yard waste, leaves, and sticks? Because I know I lived there several years and didn't know it existed.
Mark, tell them where you
The city has a compost site east end of town, past the industrial park, down by the Herman concrete plant. So it's open 24/7.
There is one more old business,
Okay.
because I said I was gonna bring it up. The job description for the enforcement officer is moving forward.
Yes, I talked to Trish about it today because we knew you would bring it up. And we like that. You're always here on top of it. But she's gonna get the copies of it from me. She already did, and I don't know where they went. I think the gremlin takes the stuff in my office and struck. But anyway, we'll get on to that.
Well, I think Alderman Lager needs a copy of that.
Well, yeah, I think
We're gonna
everybody
be
does.
discussing it. so-
Right.
I've got a copy.
You do? Okay, good. And maybe you can give me a
And
second.
they're just some samples and examples of how.
Well, that's fine. I mean, we just gotta have something to
It's a
discuss.
starting point.
This isn't gonna be a cookie cutter, one size fits all. We have unique things here, and we need to make sure that we don't throw things in there we don't need, but we have everything we do, so.
Okay. Anything else? New business.
Yes. It was an eventful day. When I left the house today, the reason, when I got 2 phone calls downtown about what was going in front of my house, I was coming down 2nd Street in front of the old firehouse, heading east. And as I crossed there in front of the old firehouse, I damn near pulled out in front of a city electric truck. There were vehicles parked all the way up to the end of that block where the old monument used to sit, and you absolutely could not see traffic coming up that hill. We need to move the no parking zone at the end of that block, right? As you're coming up the hill towards the river,
Okay.
on the left side of the street, that needs to be a yellow curb far enough back that people can see.
There was a yellow curb not far enough, I suppose.
I would say it's not, or people are parking on it, one of the two, but that needs to be fixed. 'Cause
We'll brighten the curb and see how that works.
It is a real problem, and when I got home, while dealing with the other one, I got an email from a citizen asking me to call her about the same deal. She had had the same
I
problem.
think I got that phone call.
You did. And it just because I had just done it, I said, yeah, you're right. It is bad.
Well, let me ask you, was the electric department speedy?
No. They had the flashing lights and siren and everything else going on, I'd seen them coming, but that white, you wouldn't think that white truck would blend in like that, but when those cars are that far forward, you gotta pull far enough
Yes.
forward to see something coming, you're out in traffic.
You're talking on the east side of the old firehouse?
As you're coming up the hill towards the bridge, the cars parked along the greenway. Now, if they were parked on the other side of the street, that's fine, but it's legal parking on the left side of the street.
Next to the building, it's actually legal to park there, it's not.
No, I'm talking on Market Street on Highway
Right,
19.
But as a divide, the old firehouse sits in the middle.
Yes, but not that far up, just coming up the hill.
Yeah, but as the building, the old firehouse sits in the middle of Market Street.
Yeah.
And it's one-way traffic.
Yeah.
Right beside the building should probably not be parking, but it's not marked no parking.
I know what you're saying, yeah, that's.
Oh, well,
Yeah, we can.
nobody
paint that also.
parks there. They narrowed that down when they put that sidewalk in there.
Not parked there.
I have one.
It's not
Get it,
marked.
chief.
We used to park police cars there all the time.
Well, I know, but there was no sidewalk there. You could park all the way up against the building. Did you at least park on the
There's no
sidewalk?
curbing there, there's no sidewalk there. On the east side of the building.
Yes, there is.
Can we do that? I'll go up there and
We're
look.
gonna have to go look, because there was a sidewalk there today.
When I went to DMV, they said, where'd you park? I said, I did, and they said, well, you can't park there. I said, it's not marked.
Yeah, there's a very wide sidewalk.
I have something else.
Okay, that one.
Can we paint the parking spaces on 4th Street?
We can.
Will we?
I'll talk to Todd again and we'll get it.
When will we?
Well, I know, yes. Those are, the plan's been designed by Archer and we'll get Todd on it.
Okay.
Okay, one other new business. It's been no secret the last few years since I've been an alderman that I've been racking my brain and doing everything I can to get people to behave around the Herman Elementary School. I've had a lot of support here in the Board of Aldermen and everything, getting that done, and we've had a lot of success with it. However, we have a second elementary school in our town that is having the same problem, St. George. Their situation is somewhat different because of their proximity to our business district. One of the teachers is here, isn't she? Where is she? There she is. Why don't you come up here? Karen, can you come up here for a minute, please? I'll let her tell you guys the kind of problems they're having. And maybe you all can give us a little insight here as to how we can help solve this.
So basically, I don't know if it's really a city thing or a school safety policy, but I find out I'm a parent. I'm the president of the school board at St. George, and we have problems with it going up to 4th Street. We have problems with people coming down 4th Street, people dropping off kids on the adjacent side of the school. So you have to actually watch when kids are crossing the crossway. There's people coming down the road that's not parents dropping off kids. I feel like it's a safety. A kid's just going to get hurt sooner than later is my feeling. I have personally met it to where people are speeding up and down the hills. I've almost personally have gotten hit in my car, or kids have gotten hit. And I just would like, you know, as Dave was saying, with it being right in the residential area, I don't know how much we can do, but I was just hoping for some kind of support, whether it be during school hours, during drop-off times, during pickup times, whatever, a one-way direction. The other thing that I wanted to bring up too is we also have a little yellow curb thing too, there by church. There is a, by our crossway, and then by the church curbing that is not marked yellow. You can park there, and I feel like the cars are just sticking out in the middle. And again, it's a hazard to our kids going across the crossway, because if somebody's parked there, you can't see the kids. So just anything anybody can help us to do. If there's nothing the city can do, then we just have to bring it up with our school and
I think it's probably something we can do. Here
The
again,
elementary school does now. They have that time where
I
it's
was
blocked
just
off.
looking at those ordinances today, and what we have on 7th Street is where the crosswalk in front of the public school is. There's no parking for 32 feet on either side of the crosswalk. So we should probably do the same thing there at St. George.
And it's
Well, it can only be during school hours because you got a church across the street. And we have a limited one-way street over there on 7th Street during about an hour's gap in the morning. Is it about an hour more?
Isn't it
In the
7:30
morning
to
and in the
8:30,
evening when
2:30 to
school's
3:30?
coming in and when it's letting out, to try to keep the traffic going in one direction.
We also just recently put those no parking signs
That
on
is
the south
helping
side
immensely.
because students would be running out between the cars, and we made that all no parking during pickup and drop off times. So that's something we think about too.
Well, you got the city state traffic officer here and the chief of police right there.
And maybe it's something that, I don't know if Chief Walker can sit up, you know, there in his car patrolling, but there is a lot of speeding going up and down that hill during school drop-off and dismissal. So,
There's just a lot of speeding everywhere. Another street I'm on, there are several little kids there now. People just
it just
zip up
scares
and
me
down the
to see
hills.
these kids have, you know, you have to worry about them getting to school, you know?
maybe we should go look at that too, Dave. And just see what we can do. I'm sorry,
We had recently just talked about the crosswalk at the bottom where the steps come down the hill at Mozart.
Right.
Maybe getting some different signage there to try and
Okay.
notify people before one of those children walks
I
out.
don't know if you're
the road.
familiar with that, but that looks like it could be a place where there's also a problem. So we want to fix that if we can, or at least help it.
So what's the process? Do you guys get back with me once you guys have?
Like I said, you have the
meetings, or-
city traffic officer sitting here and the chief of police right there, and we'll make sure that they talk to you all, and we'll, if need be, I can come up here, Jim can come up, Susan can come up, and we'll discuss it with you, and we'll try and find a way to solve this problem.
Perfect. Appreciate your guys' time.
For another new business, I'll tag on what she says. I know it's probably a different protocol here, but I'm gonna bring it up anyhow. Just with our public school system out there on Washington Street. I live on Washington Street. I want to propose a stop sign out there for north and southbound traffic on Washington Street because of excessive speeding, including loaded school buses, my estimate of 40 to 50 miles an hour, going past my house in a 25-mile-an-hour zone.
Well, I'm sure we have one here that doesn't do that. Anyway,
Well, when Jim brought this up to me, for a while we had that traffic sensor.
Oh, yes.
The school buses were setting it off.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much a big slap in the face when you're sitting out there and the school bus goes by and those flashing lights come on. So,
And that Washington Street is used by like the high school athletes, jog from the high school to the grade school.
Very heavily used.
And tourists that goes up to and from Stonehill Winery, citizens with their strollers or walking down to the playground with their kids or just walking. I think that that would be something we really should look into. The stop sign there at Washington north and southbound at the junction of Stark Boulevard and East 11th Street.
Okay.
And that was mentioned during my canvassing of the ward, speeding, speeding, speeding.
Okay. Anything else? Any other new business? All right, there being no other new business, let's start with the motions. And I'm going to ask Dave to read these because I don't know if I'm going to make it now. So,
First under motions is minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
second?
motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Approved. Invoices.
Next, invoices for payment.
Pay the bill.
I'll second the motion.
Motion's both been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Item C, hire Amanda Jensen as a full-time police officer.
Do we need input from the chief on this? I assume we wouldn't have gotten this far if he had any issues.
Like I said, she worked for the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department. She grew up in the Owensville area, worked part-time at Wings of Blazing, so she's familiar with Herman, knows some of the current officers. So I think she'd be a good fit for the police department in the city of Herman.
I make a motion to approve Amanda Johnson.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
All right. Item D, outdoor seating application, Harvest Table Eatery and Miscellany, 122 East 4th Street.
Do you have any, I see the proprietor here, so I'm sure if there's any questions, she'll be happy to. I will say one thing. I think she's about the only one that doesn't have this. We have a lot of them around town, and I'm just wondering how that's going to be in October when crowds have to get on the street in the street maybe.
Honestly, I don't see it as a problem. I went down and I actually looked at this marijuana there that day. But of all the outdoor seating we've approved, this is probably the
No,
best.
I'm not talking about this particular one. I'm talking about all of them.
Oh.
You know, there may be some somewhere, and I think this is about the last one we haven't approved.
Well, as long as they leave the amount of gap on that sidewalk they're supposed to, I don't see it as a problem.
Yeah, 5-foot pedestrian walkway, which is what's required.
This, because of the alcove style in front of that building, they're going to have very little encroachment on the sidewalk. I mean, it's a perfect spot.
Yeah, it is.
I can't wait to sit there.
Okay.
One thing I would ask on this, will those tables and stuff be taken in when you close up at night?
Not every night, no. Everything is temporarily going to be placed out there because that's part of the ordinance. But there's no need. We've left stuff out there all night and it's never been touched. Decorations for winter, is that the issue?
Well, I was thinking about not far from you, there's a business that serves alcoholic beverages, and if they come out onto the sidewalk where they shouldn't be having open containers, they may make themselves at home and sit on your tables and chairs to help create that atmosphere.
We've never had an issue with anybody with open containers out on the streets.
You're all would be closed, this could be 10, 11 o'clock at night, and
I think Marlon will have something to say about that.
I'm sure he will.
If they bring it up
I
in
mean,
containers.
And if that was an issue with us, it would be an issue for Worst Towns, it would be
Right.
an issue for
Yep,
all of
exactly.
the other outdoor
That's my
seating
view on all of
But
it.
we've never had an issue with anybody messing with any of our stuff or, any theft or vandalism with any of the other decorations we've had out front, so.
I just want to have an opportunity to entice someone to sit down and consume a
Well, there
beverage.
is a barricade, I mean, it's not a barricade, but there will be,
Nice.
fencing in front of that, so.
I think it looks nice and would be a good attribute for your business and for the city.
Thank you.
Do we
And I was
have,
just gonna, I'm sorry if I could just add that, here in the near future, you'll be seeing an application for conditional use permit to use this seating for the outdoor liquor consumption, just like the other restaurants in town that have liquor licenses. So that's in the works. And
Well,
that'll come to you in about a month.
nobody's gonna hide out here. The street light couldn't be in a better spot.
And just for the record, I'm not the sole proprietor. This is my business partner, Stacy Buskin. We are co-owners. You're just used to seeing my lovely face here.
so we have both applied. Okay, can we have a motion here?
I move to approve.
Second the motion.
Motion's made and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Item E is a conditional use permit renewal for Jim Holland for an unoccupied guest house at 409 Washington Street.
I would like to make a motion for this conditional use permit and the other one that is on the agenda tonight, and any future conditional use permits until we get our ordinance done, that we make them all from now until December, 8 months.
And the reason,
Because we're going to write this ordinance and we have a committee working on it, so that everybody then, when their cups are due, they will all be under the new ordinance or the revised ordinance.
I think the other thing is they'll all be under the same ordinance.
Right.
If you do let some go out a year, then you've got some under the old one and you've got some under the new one, and the police don't know, they have to look up who's who. So I think that's probably a reason.
I think that's a reasonable suggestion.
Okay, so just to make sure I'm clear, so all of them between now and the end of the year that come up for renewal, we'll just make them all the due date December 30th, so then they'll all renew at the same time, under the new, okay?
I
And
know,
that way they'll all be,
that's the reason for that, I think, that she was explaining to me, because we'll end up next year with some under one cup and some under another cup. It's gonna be confusing to whoever.
So when was that, Susan? When did you say you want to make that to?
to December, so the 8 months.
So December.
December
the
1
end
or
of the
December
year.
31?
So
It doesn't matter.
do I have a guarantee in stone that you'll have it done by then? I'm just curious.
Can I guarantee you
Is
stuff?
it over my
Well, I think, you know,
I think
it's
we'll
gonna
get
be
it done.
done way before that, way before that. But Susan's in charge of it, I would
I've been in
say,
business a long time and I've never asked for a permit. I've done this 10 years now, close to it. And then said, well, we're not going to give it to you because we might make some laws, we might not. We're going to try. We're going to do our very best, but there's no guarantee.
Well, Jim, there's no bite to this one. It's going to happen.
And in
you know-
8 months, if it doesn't happen, then we'll approve it for the next 4 months and you'll still have your year.
So,
or a year or whatever, you know, we're gonna have it. We have done this before, Jim, and I think.
but that doesn't make it right, Bob.
No, but I'm just saying,
So you go get your license at the license bureau, and they change the law, and they're gonna say, well, we're just gonna go ahead and give you, we might change the law in November, December, so we're just gonna give you a license until November, December. And I know 4 months isn't much, but I don't see any logic to it.
I think the logic is then they'll all be renewing and they'll all be under the new
Yeah, well, I
ordinance,
don't-
and it'll be easy to, if you have everybody doing a
So
different month, then
everybody
you're
will
gonna go back and
renew, everybody
forth
will
when they
renew in
are.
December then? You're gonna
The
force
ones
everybody?
between now and December will all be till December.
I don't think we have that many conditional use permits
How
anymore.
many conditional uses do we have? So we're
I don't
gonna
think
vote
we-
on something you don't know what you're talking about.
That's not true.
How many B&Bs do we have?
We have about 118, I think.
About, how many?
We have 28 or 9 B&Bs. I mean, I don't, the number I had was as of 2 weeks ago, and I have signed some more. I don't know which ones are new or not.
So we're talking about not giving a conditional use on something we're not quite sure how many.
We are gonna give you conditional use.
Yeah, but not for the year, because really, that's the right thing to do. Because you're kind of muddying up the waters.
I think it
You know,
will muddy.
Jim, the waters are pretty darn muddy right now.
I think we're actually clear.
Don't take it out on the first, this
This
time.
isn't, nobody's punishing you. We're trying to level the playing field for everybody.
What they're trying to say is continue business as you are today until we can get the experts, which is part of the B&B guest house community, to compile regulations, and then we'll present it to all the B&B and guest house people and say, here's the new ones moving forward, these are what you'll be held to. Until
So
then,
the
continue
people that
business.
have gotten, has there been conditional uses before now, this beginning of the year, from January to April?
What's the question again? I'm not sure I understand.
If we've had conditional use permits
So
from
there
January
has
until
been.
now.
We've had before. I mean, have we had some yet? Sure.
See, you're asking the question, Bob, you're not sure. So this should be a no-brainer, we shouldn't be talking about this. Make it December, or make it
We
next
have
year, and when I come on board, the April, whenever it is, then here's the rules, and I talked to Susan about this, I'm not opposed.
I know,
Lee Regal
I
can
know.
go look at it tomorrow, it's unlocked 24/7. And
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not
I-
opposed to anything you're doing, but this, like I said, just really muddies things
As
up.
these, well, Jim, as these move on and we have more of them, we're gonna end up with some that are gonna be approved in November, let's say, for the next November. Then we'll have some in December that'll be under different rules. And Marlon's gotta try to figure out which conditional use permit is this particular building.
You just said there's not very many.
I don't think there is.
Well, it's not gonna be that big a deal. I have all of it. I believe in Mark, I believe in Marlon, I have all faith in the world that they can figure it out. And Carol, I know that they can figure it out. You
Well-
just said there's not that many.
I don't think there is.
No, I know there's not.
Okay, then we agree on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not that
Okay,
big a
so-
deal. I think you're injecting government where it doesn't need to be injected.
By not giving you an
No,
extra
it
4
just-
months.
Yeah, no, just, it's year to year, that's what it's been for the last 10 years, and you haven't really given me a good argument why you're gonna change it, because.
It hasn't been that way for everybody, Jim.
Do what?
It hasn't been that way for everybody. We just had one that we approved twice for 3 months. 3 months and then 3 months. And then we went ahead and approved it because we were trying to give them an opportunity to figure out what they wanted to do with the
See,
problem.
you're proving my case, you're not sure what's
No,
going on.
I don't think I am.
You're
I
not
think
sure
I'm
what's
proving
going
our
on, so
case.
you have to approve it, and approve it again, because you're not sure what's going on.
Well, certainly we're sure what's going on. Just
Why would
because
you
you
have to
say
prove
we're
it
not,
twice?
doesn't mean anything.
So Dave, do you have anything to say? You're looking at the book.
The board can issue the permit for such a period of time as it finds to be in the public interest.
Then I'd like to make a motion to approve this one for 6 months.
Second.
I mean, 8 months, 8 months, 8 months.
8 months. Okay, we have a motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion is carried. Okay, Dave.
Item F is conditional use permit renewal, Beth Osler, the Loose Caboose at 113 West Fifth Street for outdoor liquor consumption.
She is missing one document that we need in order to approve it. So I've spoken to the mayor and we've agreed to table it.
We'll table that until the next meeting and hope that she has a piece of paper that she needs at that time. So we'll table that.
All right. Item G is conditional use permit renewal, Steve Vollmer, the DeFlora and Stone Cottage, unoccupied guest house at 214 West 4th Street.
I would like to say that I called Steve Ulmer also and talked to him about only making the permit for a shorter time. He said it was all right with him, so I would like to also make his conditional use permit for 8 months also.
Second. Have a motion made and seconded.
I'm sorry, which voice was that?
Mine.
Yours.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Item H is festival event application, MyFest Committee, Volkswagen Vendors and Car Tractor Show, May 17th through the 19th, 2019. See application for street closures.
I make a motion to approve it, as long as we change it to Volks Plat instead of Volks March on number 4.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
that.
Okay,
No,
do we have a
I'll
second?
second it.
All right.
Thank
We
you,
have a
Jim.
motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Those low voices are gonna give me a run for my money here.
Okay.
We've been studying that.
Item I, MyFest Committee's request for waiver of open container ordinance in Volksplatz area.
We did this last year, we approved it, and it went okay. So I make a motion that we let this happen again.
Real quick, Marlon, did you have any problems with that last year?
No, we didn't have any issues at all last year.
They only had, okay, they only had 3 vendors last year, and I don't think there was any problem whatsoever. and we had a map and a much better, I think, understanding of where this takes place and all. So I think we have a motion made and seconded.
I didn't hit the second.
Me, whatever. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Item J is special event application, Tourism Department, third annual motorcycle rally with games, amphitheater and street closures, and waiver of open container ordinance, June 8th, 2019, June 7th, 7th.
I have a question on this. Last year, we had to buy insurance, maybe Tammy?
Yes.
Can you tell us how we're gonna do that this year? Because some of the games were too dangerous for Myrna to cover.
Right. So I went through the same process as we did last year and I put together a request for proposals. Sent those out to some of the insurance companies around here and Montgomery City where we got the insurance from last year. We did not put the burnout pit in it this year. That was the huge bone of contention last year. So the quote that I actually have for this year is, we paid $367 last year. $392 is what we're looking at this year, which will also include something else. We're looking at also doing a pub crawl. Not for sure that's going to happen yet, but that would also include that pub crawl cost. But they can't sign any insurance. It has to be 60 days previous to the event, which we're right at 60 days.
So soon, at least.
Yeah, we could do it anytime after.
This is better. I think last year, it was Saturday and Thursday or Friday you were working on it. It was close.
I didn't have as much time on it last year because I had just started in February, so I got a little bit more of a jump on it this year.
Yeah,
I think it was
that's
May, the first meeting in May that we were working on it last year.
Okay, do we have any other discussion on this? Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Over here, do we have a
I'll
second?
second.
Very good. Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Okay. Item K, approved bid for monthly marketing services package for Tourism Department.
This is another one that's interesting. I don't know if, Tammy, does anybody need explanation? You might.
Just tell us a little bit more.
So I would like to increase the marketing of what we're doing already. We have an e-newsletter that we should be putting out every month, and we work with Madden Media. You all have already approved several contracts with Madden Media, which is the service contractor with the Missouri Division of Tourism. Madden Media has given us 20,000 names, almost 20,000 names in 2017 and 2018 that are wanting e-newsletter, wanting information from Herman, and I have not made that happen. So a small contract could help make that happen. Along with this contract is some social media opportunities and starting a blog on our website as well. So this is, you could tell by the bids that they were very broad in price, and I think we are getting a great deal at $2,500 from Branding Bear.
Does anybody have any questions? I had the liberty of being able to sit down and talk to Tammy, and she explained it all to me, so I think, I understand it, and I think it's a tremendous amount of time that it would take her to do this work, and this frees her up to do some other things and actually gets somebody that can do this on a economic basis to handle for us. Anybody else have any comments on it?
I had a question on, you're saying that you're going to create a newsletter to be sent out monthly to the names that are requesting information?
Correct.
Is there a limit on this, or does it matter?
A limit on the number?
That are sent out?
We have, in the contract, we have it that it would be sent out monthly. So this is a 6-month contract, and so we would have 6 of them sent out. Is that what you're asking? Or
Well, how many will be sent, I mean,
How many people will get the...
you said 20,000.
Right.
Is there a limit of 20,000 or is there a limit of 5,000?
No. We want to continue to build that. Yes, thank you for asking. We definitely want to continue to build our e-newsletter marketing. It is a huge number of people that we are missing out on. So for 2018 and 17, we have about 20,000 names We had some on our list already. I think we're at about 3,000 on our list already. With the Worst Fest, we also acquired emails, and hopefully we'll have about 500 to 700 more. And it's something that we hope to continue to always be getting emails from our visitors and people that want to get more information about Herman. So we've signed the contract for Madden Media for 2019. So we will start getting those emails in already for 2019. So we need to be acting on those emails. So hopefully we'll get another 12,000 emails for this year.
So is there a ceiling on that number?
No, no.
So it doesn't matter how many emails you get? Oh.
We just have to pay Constant Contact more money.
Well, that's, I guess, what I was asking.
So Constant Contact, they have certain levels of numbers of emails that you can, like $300 or $350 or something like that is for like up to 5,000 emails.
Yeah.
So we do have to pay as we go.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. I'm very confused.
Okay, do we have any more discussion? Can I have a motion?
I move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I would just remind everybody that on the next agenda, you'll see the corresponding ordinance to actually approve the contract itself, which we didn't have in time to get on this meeting.
Correct.
But it'll be for the exact same thing, we just approved the bid order.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, item L is appoint Brian Chorley to the Planning and Zoning Commission as a citizen member and appoint Susan Langer as the non-voting city liaison.
Is there any discussion of this? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Jim?
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion is carried. Okay, there being no reports for us, and there's no citizen comments, we will now move into closed session. Thank you all for coming and participating in city government. Thank you. I will need
I move we adjourn open session and go into closed session for the purpose of hiring, firing, disciplining, or promoting employees pursuant to state statutes.
I'll second.
motions made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now adjourned, and I need a motion to move into the closed session.
I just did.
You did.
Okay, we need a voice vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We're in closed session.
No, that's in front of the agenda.